now. Here I go. Here I go. Here I go. Listen, I want to just share something real quick, because when I woke up this morning, it was maybe around about 6:37, somewhere in there. Anyway, I sleep with television on, so when I woke up, it was an old episode of The Jeffersons on. And in the episode, Florence had ran into an old friend of hers. And her friend was bawling. Oh, I kid you not. Her friend was bawling. Her friend was living the life, baby. Her friend was traveling all over the world, doing her thing. But listen, anyway. So I guess Florence felt some type of way, like her being a maid wasn't impressive enough to say, hey, I'm a maid. So she convinced George and Louise to do this role play, because she wanted to invite her friend over to the penthouse. But when she got there, she wanted to pretend that she was Louise, like that was her and her husband's house, right? So of course she convinced them to do that. Right? So the friend comes in, of course she all bougie and everything. Oh, take my coat and hang it this way and make me a martini and make it, I want it shaken and all stuff, just being all bougie. But anyway, so already Florence, looking at her kind of crazy, because Louise trying to bite her lips, because Louise wasn't going for that. But anyway, she was playing along because she wanted to help out Florence. So her friend is all bragging on how she living this good life, how she traveled 300 days out of the year and having a good life. And her husband, she don't see her husband only like 2 months out of the year. All kind of crazy stuff. So they looking at her like, well, it was just crazy. So she kept being too bougie for them, and she started putting Louise down as the maid. She started talking to Louise crazy. And so Louise still trying to, be there for a friend. So Tom and his wife came over, and they kind of like, they made it seem like, something going on. So the friend figuring out, well, wait a minute, are you Louise? Or you? So anyway, they ended up putting Tom them out. And then they started back playing the role. But then the friend got too disrespectful to Louise, thinking that Louise was the maid. And baby, Florence wasn't having it. Florence stepped in and said, hey, wait a minute. First of all, let me tell you something. I'm Florence, and I'm the maid. She started just spilling her own tea. And it was just cracking me up, because all of them, George, Louise, and Florence ended up kicking her out, because she was just all the way no good for nothing, just bragging about all kind of stuff and being disrespectful to people who she thought was beneath her. So that episode just gave me life, because it just I was just glad to see that Florence stepped up and say, hey, I may not be balling like you, I may not be traveling the world and all this, but look at what you're telling us. You don't even see your husband but 2 months out of a year, and you barely see your kids. And so you're not even happy. So you just doing all this. You trying to pretend you got this great life, only, and in reality, you really sad. You sad. So, but I was just glad that Florence had finally got to a place where she owned who she was. You don't have to pretend for anybody. And so that it just reminded me when I be always telling y'all, I help people to unmask themselves and for us to live our best life. Because I just don't like when people think that living your best life is based on what you have, where you go, what you drive, where you live, all that. It has nothing to do with that. Now, don't get me wrong. You should want the best. And if you have the best, and if you live in that life, that's good. But you're not living your life based on that. You should be living your life based on that you're a good person, you're a helpful person, you don't look down on others, you're not judging others for not having the things that you have, So it was just crazy. But I was just glad to see that Florence ended up owning who she was, you know, because, hey, wasn't nothing wrong with being a maid. Still ain't nothing wrong with being a maid, and I'm just glad Florence sort of that. Baby, you should have seen how the friend had to grab her coat and get the going real quick. Girl, I was like, yes, kick her all the way out, right? So, yeah, I just wanted to talk about that episode. I have really never seen that episode, and I thought that was just so cool. It was a great lesson in there for people who were watching. If you know, I'm just one of them ones. I read a lesson out of everything. I get lessons from the clouds in the sky, believe it or not. That's not being funny. I really do. I can see a cloud in the sky, and I get a message from it. But anyway, yeah, I just wanted to talk about that because I thought that was a really funny episode, but it was also a teachable episode. So yeah, that's it. You know what I'm gonna tell y'all to do? Subscribe to the channel, share the channel, all that good stuff. Hey, Tuesday coming up for Tuesday Talk, I have a really very, very special guest that's gonna be on the video with me. So you make sure that you check that out, because that's a real good episode, and I think I'm gonna go in a different direction. But anyway, I ain't gonna get to talking too much. Let me pray on that. But yeah, I'll talk to y'all another time. I'm finna go get my walk on. The sun is kind of setting a little bit because it is hot out there. I think I'm gonna drink this whole bottle before I go out there walking, because baby, it is hot. But anyway, love y'all, fierce butterflies. Be good to yourselves, be good to one another, because it makes the world a much happier place. Love y'all.